many deaf people in the UK, accessing healthcare isn't straightforward. Trying to explain symptoms or understand a new diagnosis or how to take medication can become difficult when communication isn't accessible. Signhealth is a charity who for 40 years have supported deaf people to access healthcare and mental health services, whether they use British Sign Language or have other access needs. I learned British Sign Language as a teenager when my dad lost his hearing following chemotherapy treatment. That experience taught me the importance of accessible communication to health services for deaf people, which is exactly what Signhealth works to provide.
Growing up, I struggled with the barriers I faced as a deaf person. Sport is really important to me. It plays a big part in my mental health.
Lucinda is 34 and is profoundly deaf. She was diagnosed quite quickly after birth, as her parents had her older brother, Wishu, born 18 months earlier and having the same diagnosis.
Wishu was a lovely man. Warm, funny. A good man and kind.
As they grew up, the siblings followed different paths. Lucinda earned a place on England's deaf women's football team, which meant she travelled a lot, and they couldn't see each other as often as they'd like.
My brother tried to hide his feelings. I think a big part of this was male pride. He became isolated, which affected him more, and his mental health deteriorated.
Although Wishu tried to get help and was offered some counselling services, it wasn't direct contact, where he could speak with another deaf counsellor. As time went on, his mental health deteriorated.
My brother died by suicide. I didn't really grieve properly. I was crying and had a breakdown too.
Lucinda tried to cope with her grief, but she knew she'd need help. She contacted Signhealth, who supported her through their counselling therapy sessions, which are delivered directly in BSL.
I asked Signhealth for therapy to go through the process of grieving for my brother when he passed away. It helped me through a lot of emotional things. They provide direct contact. There was eye contact. It is more emotionally engaging. If there's an additional interpreter to communicate through, the conversation can feel disconnecting. The Signhealth charity helped me personally with my mental health after my brother passed away. It helped me process my grief. Without their support, I don't know who I'd be. I really appreciate them.
The challenges the deaf community face can be made even harder when support isn't available in British Sign Language. And that's especially true for those who may experience domestic abuse. This is why Signhealth provides specialist support in BSL from professionals who understand both the risks deaf people face and the unique challenges of communicating in a hearing world. One person who found themselves needing support from Signhealth domestic abuse services was Jackie, whose name we've changed to protect her identity. During a period of her life, she felt she was in an emotionally abusive relationship.
In the beginning, he tried to stop me from seeing my friends, so I started seeing friends less and less. He was starting to control my time. If I went out, he would say, "Oh, okay, but be back for 2 o'clock. He would have a really short temper and fuse over the smallest of things. I felt like I would be walking on eggshells. He took all of my money, so I never had financial resources. I felt like there was so much control there, I didn't feel that I could escape.
Jackie was aware of the work of Signhealth and was able to use their website to initially make contact and get help.
I had so much support from Signhealth. Straight away they said, "Are you okay?" They advised me how to contact the solicitor and the police. I was then able to get my money back. They supported me with things like, where am I going to stay? That constant contact with them enabled me to build the future and know what to do.
We're the only charity in the UK who focus on different services for deaf people, access to therapy, domestic abuse, and children and young people support. Imagine your daily life, realising you can't contact a doctor, you can't contact a domestic abuse service, you can't contact psychological therapies, you can't contact the hospital. You can't communicate in your own language because there's no interpreter. That is the daily life for deaf people. It's not unique, it happens all the time. We're making sure that we continue to break the barriers that deaf people face by providing different services. Your donation will help us to continue our work.
Signhealth is also acutely aware of the challenges faced by teenagers and young people who feel isolated. And so they work hard to provide opportunities for them to connect, share experiences, and feel as supported as possible. Jacob is 15. When he started secondary school, it was a big change from the small primary school he'd been used to. And as he wears cochlear implants to help with hearing, sometimes the noise could feel overwhelming.
School was challenging for me being deaf because I was different from everyone else. I was the only deaf person in my school. I wouldn't understand what was going on. I wouldn't be able to join in, sometimes they left me out. And I didn't really have anyone really to talk to apart from maybe my parents, and I felt quite isolated.
While the school did its best to support him, Jacob still found life challenging. So his parents reached out to Signhealth. They suggested he join their Young People Advisory Board, a group of deaf young people from across the UK who help shape the charity's work for children and young people.
The Young People Advisory Board was the first group of friends I had, and they understood me because they were deaf as well, and they could understand all the problems I was going through because we would talk about issues facing young deaf people, bullying, goes to doctor or something like that. I just never experienced having a group of friends that talk to each other. I feel like with the charity, they basically empowered me, yes, and without them I wouldn't be as confident. I've always got people who've got my back, I know that.
For anyone experiencing poor mental health, domestic abuse, or serious illness, being able to communicate clearly can be life-changing, and sometimes even life-saving. Signhealth is here to make that communication possible. You can help them continue to ensure that deaf people are understood, supported, and able to access the help they need when they need it most. To find out more, visit the charity's website, signhealth.org.uk. Thank you.